2 Thessalonians 2 verses 3-4 Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, World War II bombs Nagasaki/Hiroshima, and that man of sin be revealed, Kissinger, the son of perdition, Lucifer dragon, for who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he is God sitteth in the temple. The Son was infiltrated by the dragon. Son is the menorah of earth, of God, shewing himself that he is God. In the beginning, 2:34 God exploded the heaven and earth, so my mother is the bomb. Jesus saved the planet in 33 AD when he turned off the electromagnetic/gravitic properties, 3 hours of darkness Matt 27:8, of our sun and pre-detonated uranium-235, U-234 into U-235 via piezoelectrified crystal and granite all throughout Earth's crystalline/crustal structures. He came back full of radioactive filaments on the Shroud of Turin. John Jackson Stirk Project, Turin, Italy 1978. This was due to Satan purloining our sun, Isaac Genesis 22, full of tunnels of sun moles or spots from the Carrington event 1859, till his expulsion and exorcism of May 14, 2024, Jerusalem's 76 Renaissance 1948. The man of sin was sitting in the house of God both in the sun by the dragon of Revelation 13, and the possessed of him, Henry Kissinger, who began his onerous ascent. Theoretically he was placed in education, in the 40s to 50s by his mentor who would eventually sit him in the seat of power in the 70s and beyond. He witnessed the Renaissance to the Holy Land as well as the atomic bomb and creation of www.com, the worldwide, Nikola Tesla, web. One man would rule with a rod of scientific rigor and creativity, the other with a cowprod. One was the catacon restrainer that with his death, Tesla 1943, the other was unrestrained to come to fullness of terror in the 50s till his demise during the other restrainer in 2024, Donald J. Trump de facto sovereign. Trump's uncle would have the cache of Tesla's transcendent information in the form of trunks of documents. The tabernacle of our forebears is the plan that God had of saving our son above. Be ashamed, O Sidon, for the sea has spoken, the stronghold of the sea, saying, I have neither labored nor given birth, I have neither reared young men nor brought up young women. Isaiah 23 verse 4. Isaac is the character Job. Akita. The king ram was caught by his crown of thorns going into the Akita of Abram Genesis 22, when he saved our son, from the binding of the same, Isaac, is our son's acronym. This ram discharged our son from dragon Satan, H. Kissinger, in 2024 when the dragon was sent to the Grand Canyon's pit of darkness just before he is sent to outer darkness and the lake of fire. Job 2:2, 3 and 4. Satan said, from going to and fro on the earth, and from walking, 156, up and down on it. 3 And the Lord said to Satan, Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, who fears God and turns away from evil? He still holds fast his integrity, although you incited me against him to destroy him without reason. For then Satan answered the Lord and said, Skin for skin. All that a man has he will give for his life. Job, that he is mentioned in the book of Ezekiel as one of 3 great examples of righteousness, along with Daniel and Noah, Ezekiel 14 verses 14 and 20. For further information on Job, see these articles, Job, Book of, Critical Issues. Job, Book of, YWB. The story of a righteous man's suffering, apparently as a result of a heavenly wager between God and the Satan. Job debated issues of reward and punishment with 4 friends and was eventually vindicated by God. Job 2 verses 2-4. The book concludes on this note, leaving the reader without a definitive answer to the question of whether or not God lives by the notion of retributive justice. The discussion commences with arguably the oldest account of godly theses or theodicy sadface Dr. J. Vernon McGee. Fissionable uranium-235 was created during Jesus' 3 hours of darkness on Calvary, not in Eden. Eve took a bite in 1945 with the Manhattan Project, but between Eden and then, Christ Jesus pre-detonated.
I'm going to just break in here and see if it'll take here for our Job. He doesn't know how to say that. So this is not This is not able to be. So Jesus predetonated. The granite crystal creating the piezoelectric charges. I think it's from the Ark of the Covenant through lightning bolts, etc. The Ark of the Covenant that predetonated the virginal crystalline granite, igniting the 234 to become 235, the newest natural element to date. So Jesus set it a new Eden, basically. He made a new Eden. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to try and get some of the footnotes in here because it gives a little bit more information. It's a lot of footnotes. Well, let's start with the first one. I didn't know there was this many. The first one is one of the most important ones that I wanted to do. Of course, it was about Job. What? Look at all these footnotes I had. Several pages. Okay. But I'm trying to put them in. All right, let's do this. So forgive the numbers on here because we're going to have to go through the numbers.
Two TH2:304 KJV, electronic edition of the 1769 ED of 1611 version. Bellingham, Washington, Logos Research Systems Incorporated, 1995. The dragon of old invaded our sun with the 1859 Carrington event. The sunspots are the pre-super cooling of our star to decimate our planet. 3446, Yischak/Eastcock/NPRM.
So this is the definition of the word Isaac, which is our sun, which is what was filled with the sunspots by the dragon to decimate us on this planet. And Jesus, as the Lamb of God, stood and decimated the dragon, and he finished it from 1859 to 2024.
From 7831, TWOT 1905b, GK 3773.
That's
for occurrences, AD translates as Isaac 4 times. One son of Abraham by Sarah his wife and father of Jacob and Esau. Additional information, Isaac equals he laughs. James Strong, Enhanced Strong's Lexicon, Woodside Bible Fellowship, 1995. Job 2.9. Double reference to plutonium, up 239, and down nuclear ash. Job may have been referring to the sun moles or spots that the surface of the sun was afflicted by Satan when he possessed our star during the Carrington event of 1859, with painful boils, see above. Also was inflicted with radiation like sickness referred to as wormwood, lest there should be among you man, or woman, or family, or tribe, whose heart turneth away this day from...
So the wormwood is referring to the radiation. It's not necessarily referring to the sun per se, but what would come from it. The bad part of radiation coming from it. You know, due to the dragon being there.
The Lord our God, to go and serve the gods of these nations, lest there should be among you a root that beareth gall and wormwood. Deuteronomy 29 verse 18, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Proverbs 5 verse 4, therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will feed them, even this people, with wormwood, and give them water of gall to drink. Jeremiah 9 verse 15, therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts concerning the prophets, behold, I will feed them with wormwood, and make them drink the water of gall, for from the prophets of Jerusalem is profaneness gone forth into all the land. Jeremiah 23 verse 15, He hath filled me with bitterness, He hath made me drunken with wormwood. Lamentations 3 verse 15, remembering mine affliction and my misery, the wormwood and the gall. Lamentations 3:19, Ye who turn judgment to wormwood, and leave off righteousness in the earth. Amos 5 verse 7, And the name of the star is called wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters, because they were made bitter. Revelation 8 verse 11. Uranium is found in nature as the isotopes 238U, 235U, and 234U. 230.
No, so I disagree with this. Naturally, it is 234. Enriched, it says it is formed naturally. It's not formed naturally. 238 and 235 are man-made, and they are enriching to become into, they're enriched for whatever reasons, whether it's for good or evil. It is not naturally occurring. And the reason why I take umbrage with this is because it was not created until the cross, until Jesus made a new Eden, which was the new. So anyway, let's go to this next one. All right, before we go into this,
Tesla is the man who ruled the world with iron. He was the catechon or the restrainer of 1 Thess. Rev 12 recounts his birth by Eve, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun.
Okay, wait a second. Two things here. The catechon is the man who also has to rule with a rod of iron. So Tesla's Tesla's rule is scientific, and it is unseen. The other catechon, over the atomic bomb, which is a cattle prod. So those two are not hyper, but they are juxtaposed to one another. So that's the catechon refers to Tesla restraining Kissinger when Tesla died. Then Kissinger went to power. When Trump came into power, Kissinger died. So they stand as two bookends. Tesla on the far left hand in 1943, 3 years later, Trump was born. And then when Trump was in office, that's when Kissinger died. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Tesla and Kissinger, or Tesla and Trump are superimposed as bookends for the catechon, and they rule with a rod of iron, which would be Kissinger has the bomb, which is a cattle prod, and Tesla's is free World Wide Web. It's a good rule. Let me see if I can get the things in here now. Okay, now Revelation 12 is where Eve, who supported Jesus, Eve has to take the man, which would be Tesla, because he's the beginning of this catechon, of this restrainer, Trump and Tesla restrainer. She has to go into the wilderness, so that would probably be Colorado Springs, where she takes Tesla, but that's the Four Corners area, which eventually in 2024, Kissinger and the dragon would go into hell in the Grand Canyon Four Corners area. So they are that is also juxtaposed. Okay.
Rev 12 recounts his birth by Eve, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars, 2 and she being with child cried, traveling in birth, and pain to be delivered. 3 and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold a great red dragon.
So the great red dragon is going into the sun, which was just recounted here. This is the good news. The catacon was coming. That Eve, and I think the eclipses of 2017 is part of the recounting of this and the fullness of it, but she is being delivered of Nikola Tesla. He was 3 years old when the Carrington event happened, and so she brought forth this child to rule all nations with the rod of iron, and the child was caught up to God and his throne. So what happened is Tesla was protected, and he eventually went into the wilderness, which would be Colorado Springs. Now, it wasn't a wilderness then, but it was, so to speak, it was a wilderness. The Grand Canyon is still a wilderness. There's hardly anything in the Grand Canyon. It is still considered a wilderness, which is where the dragon and Kissinger are. So this is a super intense saga, and there's a lot of moving parts to it.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads.
So let's get the red dragon in there. So the red dragon is, behold a red dragon, and this is the one that went
Tesla
into.
is the man who ruled the world with iron. He was the catacon or the Tesla is the man who ruled the world with iron. He was the catacon or the restrainer of one Thess. Rev 12 recounts his birth by Eve, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars, 2 and she
So the 12 could also be referring to 12 years for something. Perhaps it means 12 years from 2012. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's a
child
play
cried,
on words.
traveling in birth, and pain to be delivered.
And the
3 and there
child is
appeared
Tesla.
another wonder in heaven, and behold a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads.
Wait a second. This is not working right. And I think that is the atomic. I think that's the atomic equivalence. 7 heads and 10 horns. There's an atomic weight there. There's atomic measurement.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. For in his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. 5 and she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God, and to his throne. 6 and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. 7 and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. 8 and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. 9 and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil, and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. 10 and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation, and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. 11 and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. 12 Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea! For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. 13 And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. King James Version, electronic edition of the 1769 edition of the 1611 authorized version. Bellingham, Washington, Logos Research Systems Incorporated, 1995, Re 12:1-13. He was the catacon, who when he died the Antichristos Henry Kissinger was catapulted to power. Conversely, Trump was in Kissinger's White House till HK died and was entombed in Grand Canyon, Arizona. Here we contend Tesla is inscribed in Genesis as the son of Adam who tapped the Van Allen belt radiative protective shield in his quest for free energy that is in the covalent shell of the planetary system. Tesla was not Jewish, but he mimicked Moses' tabernacle, puzzling out the Ark of the Covenant, and the Ark is a synecdoche of the overarching power of the magnetosphere that includes the bow shock, which may have been the guiding angel in the wilderness in Sinai. His name is implied in holy text. The rib of Adam differs from the center or heart of Adam. There seems to be an overarching property, beyond the nucleus, that can be procured without incident, affected by atomic properties without destroying them at the same time and causing radiation. It was a conductor for the magnetic shockwave of energy, just like Earth's core conducts.
So when the atomic bomb went off, it would affect the core of the planet and the atmosphere of the planet. And of course the dragon would know this.